असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय शांति शांति शांति. Namaskar everyone. As you all know that today we have assembled here to witness the very first Amrita Daga Memorial Lecture, and the lecture is to be delivered by none other than her idol, Dr. Kiran Bedi. But before we jump into the lecture session, we would try to read out a very short life sketch of late Amrita Daga. Amrita Daga, beloved daughter of Sri Ratan Kumar Daga and Srimati Rajshri Daga, was born on August 1, 1970 in Kolkata. She was only 3 years old when she started reading books. That passion stayed with her throughout her life. Well-read and widely travelled Amrita was an embodiment of humility and grace. She completed her hotel management degree in Kolkata and started her career with the Oberoi in Mumbai. Often asked why she chose hotel management, she used to say it gave her a chance to serve many more people in one go. After her marriage, she was shifted to England and pursued her Masters of Science in Management. A few years later, she was relocated to Singapore and joined as a junior lecturer. She rose to be a manager for corporate partnership and programs. During her 17th year at Temsik, Amrita led several delegations to countries like Japan, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and a few Central Asian countries. Amrita was a corporate trainer par excellence. She felt the pulse as soon as she walked into a room. She was with her presence that she was invited to a lead training programs for senior level executives on cross-cultural studies and international relations. In fact, she was recognized as Sensei Ami by her Japanese colleagues. In 2016, when Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, in his first term as Chief Minister of the recently created state of Andhra Pradesh, decided to set up the new capital of Amaravati, when she sought support from the Singapore government for Amaravati, Amrita was handpicked to be a part of the team. In 2021, Amrita joined Catalyze Consulting, an international non-profit firm, as the managing director and consulting principal, where she continued her work in diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging. Meticulous and organized by nature, Amrita practiced these skills in her personal work for understanding as well. She always said that if you are enjoying the privilege in any way, use it to help others who don't. Moved by the plight of the elderly cleaners and their lonely and hard lives, Amrita implemented Project Because, befriending elderly cleaning aunties and uncles of Singapore. Under this project, she rallied students of the Culinary Academy to cook a buffet meal in appreciation for the elderly cleaners of the Polytechnic. This project was recognized and awarded by the Prime Minister of Singapore himself. In 2017, Amrita made her idol Dr. Kiran Bedi. Inspired by her, she started Project Kiran, where she led students' delegations from Temsek to India for experimental community building programs with Dr. Bedi's India Vision Foundation that works with children of prisoners. When COVID hit the world, true of her nature, Amrita thought of others before herself. Locked down in Singapore, she raised funds for her project Dal Roti, a community initiative that supported undeserved families from resettlement colonies in Delhi with ration kits. She felt very strongly about equality for women. From her early years in IIHM, where she won the first prize at a seminar on dowry of women, Amrita exhorted people in her sphere of influence to celebrate Women's Day. Not simply by wishing, not just by participating in events, not by swishing about feeling important. She left us suddenly on the 8th of April 2025. She was only 54. Amrita Daga Memorial Lecture was instituted by her mother, Rajshri Daga, and father, Ratan Kumar Daga. Today, the very first Amrita Daga Memorial Lecture will be delivered by Dr. Kiran Bedi. She doesn't need any introduction. She's a retired IPS and former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. She will be discussing on the topic, India will rise. And to add to her grace, I would just like to add a few lines. Dr. Bedi is India's first woman Indian police service officer, a pioneering administrator, reformer, and author, whose transformation of Tihar prison, as you all know, remains an extraordinary chapter in the history of Indian public administration. In her book, It's Always Possible, she writes, motivation, persistence, and perseverance are the distinct traits of determined and dedicated individuals. I would also like to recall her decision to introduce Vipassana meditation at Tihar. We often hesitate when it comes to introducing something new, especially in a difficult environment, but Dr. Bedi did not hesitate. She took the initiative and the result became part of the remarkable story of Tihar. And I would like to read from the book only. In the It's Always Possible, page number 300, one of the inmates of the prison, he writes, and his name was Bichittar Singh, who was serving a life term of imprisonment. He said, I have been in the jail for the last 9 years due to a fabricated and misconceived evidence of my parents and brothers. I had been harboring a feeling of revenge and ill will against my own parents and brothers. Right now, after undergoing this meditation course, I am feeling so light, so tension-free, so happy, and so satisfied. That's how you transform a jail to a Sangshodhanagar, where we can correct ourselves. And Dr. Bedi has rightly paved that way. Dr. Bedi, this is also a privilege for me as a personal fan of yours, welcoming you to this institute. I know I don't possess any quality to give an introduction to you, but on behalf of the institute, I would like to thank you for coming here. And before that, I would also request our revered Secretary Maharaj, Srimad Swami Tattvasaranandaji, to come on the stage and give a token of appreciation to Dr. Bedi, since she has come so far to grace this occasion.
Please sit on the dais. Correct. You're right. I was thinking of not letting him go. I was always thinking he would be there.
Listening to you.
Swamiji, you have to preside over this. And once you preside over, you bless everything. Have you another chair?
Yes.
Thank you. Now you bless them and then I'll begin.
No. Afterwards I will propose vote.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Hunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Now let us enjoy Dr. Bedi's deliberation.
I needed this. I needed this vibration. See, that is the reason I got you here. And thank you for accepting my request. I want to thank this institute for hosting this and even extending me the hospitality. I'm so happy to see this institute here. I didn't know that this day will happen. When Amrita and I met in Delhi a few years ago, I didn't know that this day will happen. As life is as uncertain as it is, a young woman came to meet me from Singapore, and I'm talking Amrita Daga, parents sitting here, sisters sitting here, family sitting here. Few years ago, she came to see me in Delhi. Thank you. Only to come and see the way we work. She was a keen learner, a student, without I knowing her credentials, her own credentials in learning of leadership, management, and so many other experiences she had, herself a trainer. But she came with that humility, as if she's a young student, and she looked one. By the way, her face and my face is almost similar. Because when I see her picture, which we have of hers, many people said, "Are you her sister?" They asked Amrita, "Are you her sister?" And when I looked at it, and then somebody said, "Were you twins?" Twining of the faces. She had the same kind of build, same height, same hairstyle, same learning spirit. That's the way I got attracted. I also got very inspired. A young woman coming all the way from Singapore, not once more. Then she start to mobilize support. As I said, Dal Roti Ka, she started a fundraising campaign. What was I doing? I was running a foundation which I started in 1994 when I got the Ramon Magsaysay Award in police and prison reforms. And the Magsaysay Award had to be dedicated. The awards are always to be passed on. Awards are not to be taken home. Actually, award comes with a message. Don't stop, carry on. That's what Swamiji always said. Carry on, don't stop. So friends, this is how I didn't stop. I made it to another beginning. And in 1994, when I was already working as Inspector General Prisons, I left the prison work in 1995. So in 94 I got the award, 93 I was appointed, and 94 very positive programs happened inside the prison. The objective was to whoever is inside the prison may stop the revolving door and leave prison with a reformative mindset. And what requires a reformative mindset? We put in all those programs inside the prison without any budget from the government. Any budget from the government. And this is how the awards came. Somebody watched it from overseas and then awarded. So when the award came in 1994, I went to Manila to receive the award given by the President of the Philippines. I announced in my acceptance speech that I'll dedicate this to a birth of a new foundation called the India Vision Foundation. I didn't call it Kiran Bedi Foundation. I said this is India's vision, which has got translated through reformative approach. So India Vision Foundation, and that is how this foundation was born, as I said, and it was to carry forward education of prisoners' children who are also into Indian prisons with their mothers. Some of you may not know that a woman who comes into the Indian prison and if has a child below 6 years, she can be permitted to bring the child along. So many women do bring their children alongside, and they also need care. They have not done anything wrong. And they need, so I then started playway schools inside the prison, child care centers, etc., so that they don't continue to be with the mother and go to the courts, etc. So this is how this foundation was born. But after I left, what do I do with those children? I started in the playway school. So those people kept approaching me now saying, ma'am, what do we do? But the foundation was born. Foundation was born to carry forward that work. So I remember, friends, that during 1994, Mother Teresa also visited me inside the Hard Jail and came and blessed the whole program. And that's how Assisi Convent connected with me to take care of the children after the age of 5 or 6, to be done residential school education. And now residential school education naturally had a fee. So we started to raise some funds. And friends, India Vision Foundation was born. This is what Amy came to, we call her with affection, Amy, came to see in Delhi, the work which was being done in 94, since 94, and see what we do. And then I had another foundation also earlier, while as a police officer serving in the district, to prevent crime of by drug addicts or drug peddlers. How do I prevent crime? Do I keep arresting them, punishing them, or do I help them work with the economic empowerment? So I started a foundation 40 years ago as a serving police officer to see crime prevention happens through reform. So there were 2 foundations Amy came to see. Navjyoti, which was doing in this India Vision. And then later, she came to me in Puducherry when I was doing prison work as its Lieutenant Governor. She came all the way to Puducherry also from Singapore, only to see how I was functioning and governing this administration in the city. So the picture I've shared today, at the moment, I put it on my Twitter handle just now, on the handle called @the_Kiran Bedi, where I put in her picture, and you'll see what I've said, we both look alike. We are sitting on on the lawns of Raj Nivas, and where we did a yoga, and we both are sitting cross-legged on the floor, on the lawns of Raj Nivas, and such a beautiful picture of hers, which is there. So this is what brings me, and coincidentally, the friend of her sister Isha, Ami's sister Isha, friend, met me on a flight few months ago, and she says, you are so-and-so, Amy thinks of you. I said, but where's she? What's she doing these days? And then they said, she's no more. She's no more. And I said, I did not know. Why did you not tell me that Amy is no more? They said, yes, but she's no more. And I said, oh. And then I think we stayed connected. And you had in mind probably this. You had in mind. So Isha and family got to get connected with me to say, can you come to Calcutta to deliver this first memorial lecture? So friends, I thought I'd share with you the story, the background. Background is how she and I connected, how she came with the spirit to learn as a student, to see how she could do more. And she was a very child full of passion and inspiration, who wanted to do more. She left us very early, otherwise she would have played her own role in even working in Calcutta, coming back from Singapore, etc., to maybe set up a foundation. Hasn't she set up something already? She did. So she would have done that. I think it's our loss of a very young, dynamic woman, young lady, who would have done a lot for her country. So friends, this is the background that she came and I connected. And that's how I came this morning on a flight from Delhi but very happy to be in Ramakrishna Center. I'm very fond of the center. I'm very fond of Ramakrishna. I'll tell you how I'm very fond of it. There's another story. While policing 1972, 74, when I was in the Indian Police Center, Mount Abu, when I was under training, and tennis tournament came for Indo-Sri Lanka women's tennis tie. There was a tennis tournament of women's tie, Fonseca Trophy, women's tie between India and Sri Lanka. And I was in Mount Abu at that time. Mount Abu. And the All India Lawn Tennis Association, and some of my best friends are in Calcutta, Jaideep Mukherjee, Premjit Lal, and all of them, but my Gaurav Mishra, Chirudeep, I used to come here to Calcutta to play tennis lawns as a junior tennis player in the Calcutta South Club lawns, one of the best lawns the country had. So when I was, it all started through this tennis, and I was at this tennis tournament. And the All India Lawn Tennis did not include, they announced the team of the women's team. And I did not see my name in it. And then it came in the newspaper. I was at that time India's #1 in women's tennis tournament in India, as ranked #1. And they ignored me because they thought I was no more available. And since I was in the police training. And I wrote to the secretary, I am available. I will represent India. And I will play, and I'm playing. And I was playing regular tennis at that time at the police academy with my director and many other. Of course, I was beating all the boys because there was no other India #1. And I was beating them. There was somebody who was a university champion, etc. But I was practicing and I was playing because there was no champion in the police academy under training. I was the only champion. And I told the AIT, I'm ready, I want to represent. And they included me. But when we went to Sri Lanka, Colombo, something wrong happened. Something went amiss. And guess where I went immediately? To the Ramakrishna Mission in Colombo. I stayed there, took protection and shelter. I took shelter there because I was so confident that I can go home. So Ramakrishna Mission, internally as a student with me, always stood up to me as my home, that I could go anytime. Because basically I'm also almost a monk in uniform. That's how I call myself, because the way I've tried to work has been a monk in uniform, with total abnegation and a sense of giving. The topic you've given me is New India Will Arise. And I thought I could put in my thoughts of what I thought for New India to arise. New India is a mixture of the old and the new. Sometimes it becomes new and sometimes it becomes old. It's a mixture. 2 steps new and 3 steps back old. It keeps happening. I've been watching it grow because I'm now 77 years old and I've seen India grow, and I've grown actually. I'm a 49-year born. And I've seen, I'm 2 years after independence. And I've grown actually with my country. And the independence in mine is almost similar, almost parallel. So I've seen India 2 steps forward and 3 steps back sometimes. 4 steps forward and 5 steps back again. It worries me, it angers me, but it also inspires me because of the steps when we do go forward. So I thought I will link it with my experience of my life. What have I seen India arise? The new India, as I said. And what is it that it needs to look ahead? So I am dividing my sections of sharing with you in areas I have worked and what has happened. And what is needed. First of all, administration. In administration, where I learned that governance is about trust. Governance is about trust. The first lesson public administration taught me was simple, and I lived it. Government does not exist to rule people. It exists to serve them. It exists to serve them. Our leadership, whether appointed or elected, or community leadership, the way Ramakrishna Mission serves it. They are a serving organization. They continue to serve. It exists to serve them. These institutions exist to serve them. Files, procedures, budgets, and policies are merely instruments. Trust is the real currency of governance. Trust. How I blindly trusted in Colombo and went to Ramakrishna Mission. I didn't need to be reminded. I trusted it. Friends, trust is the real currency of any good governance. Whenever citizens trusted institutions, development accelerated. Whenever trust declined, even the best policies struggled. And I've seen this in my own eyes, having had the internal experience of policing and then administration of a union territory. New India will therefore require institutions that are transparent, accountable, and citizen-centered. Why I'm saying this is that this is what we as citizens need to get and ask, demand. Be courageous to ask. Stand up together saying we want to ask. It's very, very important that we demand all of our elected and nominated officers, and even, we don't have to demand, they already give it to us. Such institutions give. From others we have to demand because they sometimes forget. So what is the demand? One thing which I've asked is, I've been saying and writing in my columns, is town halls. We need to demand town halls from all our elected representatives. Town halls. Have a town hall where we need to ask you. Town hall means regularly, once in 3 months or once in 6 months, listen to people. What this country now needs is actually listening. It is needing to be heard. And as we've seen today, there's a new generation which is waiting to be heard. So have we to be heard. We must demand it and not let them get away. And when I said appointed people come along with the elected representatives because they are the ones who do the file work. So I would say town halls is important, asking. Friends, I am telling you something which I had practiced as Lieutenant Governor Puducherry. I used to hold town halls. I used to hold regular town halls with Public Works Department, with Education Department, with the rural communities to find out what have they to say, what is happening. With teachers, town halls, and call them to invite them to Raj Nivas to hold town hall. But with the result, what was the town hall meant for? To hear, to find out what's happening. What is it that we can do and correct the situation? And this becomes visibility, it becomes accessibility, and it provides transparency, and which means it's not an agitation, it's hearing, and that can be handled. So this is one area where I thought the new India to become new needs to practice town halls by the elected representatives at the corporate level, at the panchayat, all levels. From panchayat to the minimum, corporate and assembly, then comes the minister, and then comes the, so all levels of elections you've done, including highest levels. The chief, I'm talking of the state law. I'm talking central is different. Here it is, since I'm talking to West Bengal. We must demand. And you have elected a new government now. It's time the people of Calcutta start asking, now that we've driven a change of regime here, we have expectations, come to our areas and listen to us. And we want to be heard. Don't keep this, because otherwise, again we'll start saying, oh, I wish we had told them or said. So grievance redressal system, accessibility, transparency, listening, conversation, it can be time bound. It can be moderated. The lecture need not go on, and it should not be a one side direction. Listen and hear. Q&A. It's like a fireside chat, asking people. But moderation, time limited. Nobody speaks more than 1 minute, saying your time is up. There should be a bell there. Time up. Otherwise we'll go on and on. Ask your question, time up. To the point. Even my answer should be time up. I have a question, time up. My answer is time up. We need a neutral umpire. Ramakrishna Mission can be the neutral umpire. You could be the neutral umpire because you are accepted by everybody, respected and trusted by everybody. So this is my 1 second. Second is policing, because that's been my life. Law alone, friends, cannot build a peaceful society. Law alone cannot. Years in policing taught me something every society must remember. Crime is often the final symptom which I saw. Its roots lie elsewhere. It's in broken homes, broken families. It's in poor education, poorest education, where the teachers are missing or teachers not inspired. Poor education. No tracking of dropout children, letting the children just pass an examination. Drug abuse, wherever it exists. Unemployment. Why? Because you're becoming graduates and no skill. Schools do not have a skill laboratory at all. All these years we opened schools without any vocational laboratory at all. With the result, I am a graduate, but I do not know anything else. I do not know anything to do with my hands. So the head has been rote learning, heart has been going astray many times, and hands have not been used. Hand skills are not there. So education has been very low. No, vocational skill is very low. If India actually needs a little policy change here to become new India. All schools in the country, given a 1 year time, set up a vocational laboratory inside the school. Whichever trade you want to begin with one trade at least before the children pass out from the 12th standard. One, and no new school to be licensed or registered without a part of it, just as science room, playground, etc. part. So should be a laboratory where says which trade will you give. Oh, we'll do electrician trade, we'll do plumbing trade, we'll do beautician case, we'll do a computer course, we'll do artificial intelligence. That school should be known. It can be more than one. I'm beginning with one. See, even if we begin with one, millions of schools now will have these laboratories, which they don't have. And similarly, the ITIs, Indian Institutes of Technology, how they can be supported by the corporate world, which is on revival here at the moment in West Bengal. As it revives, it can start supporting an ITI and then work on trades. So very important is unemployment to deal with. At the moment, this is the problem number one, because it's an inherited problem. We have created it. We didn't demand it. We never realized it. We were growing in population. We were making graduates. Everybody going BA, even MA, even PhD. But after that, the employer now asks, yes, you've done a PhD. What do you know? What can you do with your hands? Tell me that. I need you there. I don't need a PhD. I need somebody who can correct something, do something with the hands. So, friends, we have created with the population bulge, created unemployable graduates who do not know the skill at all. It's not their fault. We never gave it to them. Had we given it to them from standard 9, standard 10, we would have had employment here. People would have been hiring each other because they would have created their own entrepreneurship. And the government schemes could have gone into setting up entrepreneurs. So unemployment is the biggest issue, and West Bengal society must, because these are all in the spirit of Ami. This is exactly, if she was present here, she would have taken up these causes. I can tell you that. She would have taken up as her own foundation causes and started this. She started Dal Roti at that time. She would have started then saying using of hands, the 3-hand policy, which I say, the head, the heart and the hands, the education policy with 3H. She would have started the 3H foundation, I do believe. So friends, then we have loss of values. Loss of values. Corruption has been part of it. I'll be coming to that. Weak communities, silent communities, sleeping communities, resigned communities, surrendered communities. So we are into weak communities. Policing, therefore, begins long before police arrive, because these are all role players. So you can't put all the blame in the police. No, where are our roles? Families, education, drugs. What has police to do? Police, of course, has to check selling of drugs. But what about abuse of drugs? Families have to take care. Loss of values. Only schools can't teach. It begins with the parents. Value system begins with the parents. The value system of the parents goes to the children. So policing, therefore, begins before the police arrive. It begins inside homes, classrooms, and neighborhoods, even neighborhoods. Community policing. Remember, during the British times, I have worked in the villages also, is they used to have a chowkidar system. The chowkidar, the watchman knew everybody in and out of that village. Now it's all gone. But those times, this is the way the British were running the country. How they were running, right or wrong. But they had a chowkidar system which worked. He knew all the bad characters of the village. He knew all the people who'd be arrested, who's absconded, who's gone away. So community policing is that, but here it is RWAs. You all have resident welfare associations. It's the same thing. Does the RWA know who's coming, who's gone, and who's using the flat for what reason? Public participation. Mutual trust remains India's strongest defense against crime. So it is a mutual trust. So we all have to constitute better policing. So this is the second area. Third, prison reforms, which has again been my work, is no class. Behind every prisoner, friends, I saw a human story. Some made terrible choices. They used to tell me, ma'am, you lecture us, you pray with us at 6 p.m. before they would be put back into the prison. Every day they said, ma'am, you Hindi jante? Ma'am, aap to chale jate sham ko. शाम को आप चले जाते, हम रह जाते. तो ऐसे तो क्यों? क्योंकि तुम स्कूल छोड़ गए थे ना. छोटी उम्र में तुम स्कूल से भागे थे ना. मैं स्कूल में बैठी रहती थी, मैं स्कूल में पढ़ती थी, तुम चले जाते थे, तुम छोड़ जाते थे. इसीलिए आप यहाँ पढ़ने आए हो. आप, मैं उस वक्त पढ़ती रहती थी. इसे पढ़ते पढ़ते मैंने देखो काम किया. अगर आप भी फिर इसलिए जेल में जो मैं पढ़ाने के लिए तुम्हें किताब दे रही हूँ, पढ़ो इसको. So मैं उनको स्टूडेंट बनाए थे उस वक्त. 10,000 प्रिजनर्स पढ़ते थे इस रोड स्कूल में. 10,000 prisoners were studying inside my prison at that time. Where did the teachers come from? 10,000. Do you know every tree was a classroom? We look for a big building. Every tree is a classroom. What was happening during the Mahabharata times? Did they have buildings? Or did they have a tree? During the Mahabharata, the Pandavas' time, where were the gurus teaching them from? Buildings? Buildings? Where were they teaching from? Under a tree. Cleanest air under the tree. So in prison, every tree was a classroom. Because inside my prison, I had about 200 to 300 acre complex. And there were lots of trees because it was an old institution. So every tree had become a classroom and prisoners were sitting under a tree. All books were used school books donated by schools in Delhi. All donated old school books. When they would go to the next standard, they would donate the books here, and I would then use the school books and the bag according to the level of the student. Every prisoner in 10,000 prisoners of mine in Tihar jail at that time had a school bag. And it had a copy and a pencil donated by school children. No money of the government. Where were the teachers coming from? Prisoners themselves. There were lawyers also inside. There were professors also inside. There were graduates also inside. There were masters inside. They were all society. Prison is a society. It has all kinds of people. So we tapped them saying, okay, padhao aap. We never asked them, which crime did you commit? I knew what the crime. Why should I ask and embarrass? I would say, hey, you're a graduate, you're a PhD, you're a law degree, you have this degree. Okay, you be a teacher. And he didn't mind it because now he was giving a new status. Nobody was calling him a murderer or etc. Now they were calling him teacher. And his mind started to change. And now he had a class. So he had books. We then created a teacher panchayat. And so along with skills, books came from publishers, donated, all donated books. We set up many libraries, all by non-profit work. Everything of this is possible in Indian prison anywhere. So can Calcutta prison do. Use school books, use the educated teachers to teach, and bags, etc., copy pencils to be donated. Publishers donate books which they need not sell, but it's got something error here, error there. Donate to the prison library. See, you have libraries, no money required. You have bags, no money required. You have teachers, no money required. You have stationery, no money required. Only need is honest Inspector General. Only person who has no other interest except larger interest. No money to be gained out of it. So even if it was a local politician, he also sat in the class to attend the class. So it was so interesting. This is my prison. Friends, this is possible. This model is actually what brought the Magsaysay Award. So I thought I'll tell you what went behind it. Now comes villages. We got villages. Villages, as a first foundation, as I said, Navjyoti, works with village empowerment, working on women's entrepreneurship, water harvesting. So many of these things, friends, as a community we can, and village is the basis still. For New India, Swamiji's dream can be fulfilled not without addressing the issues of the villages. And community has to link, along with it, as I said, the town halls where you hold with the panchayats. And panchayats have funds, friends. Panchayati officer has also his funds. The only thing is fund has to go to the right source. So when community gets involved, it happens. Then comes education. Again, because of the remedial education I do as an NGO, while in my, as I told you, with policing, I set up this foundation on my own as crime prevention. But it evolved and evolved. Today it's a police academy, skills academy as a foundation. It does remedial education for many. Children go to school, but they don't have a computer or artificial intelligence. They come to my Navjyoti India Foundation, they learn artificial intelligence and do another skill, and then they go home. So they are being filled in where schools. Yesterday, friends, I must tell you a story of education. I was in a very good 5-star school. I was invited on the eve of 15th of this Independence Day. And I started to address the schools, the way you are all listening, the way you're looking at me, as if you're hungry to listen more. You're looking all hungry. And when I addressed the students like this, they were sitting there. They were doing alti-palti on a mat. And they were fidgeting and fidgeting. They could not pay attention. And I said, but you're not even listening to what I'm saying, when I started my speech. And I said, are you not used to sitting on the floor? They said, no. I said, you do not do yoga? They said, no. So I said, what happens to the yoga day being announced by the Honorable Prime Minister? What did you do on that day? That means they violated it. Then I said, don't you have a yoga teacher? At least to teach yoga. And there were 3,000 children in that school. I said, okay, bring me that teacher. Where is he? Where is he? Bring me. I want to ask him. What does he do? How many teachers do you have? Your 3,000 children. How many yoga teachers do you have? They said, 1. This is education. And the owner of the school, a rich man who has a chain of schools in a particular city, felt very embarrassed. I said, I can't blame these children who are so fidgety sitting on the floor, because they never sat on the floor. Then vice principal came. No, ma'am, they meditate. Very good. When do they meditate? Sitting on the chair. And I said, how long? 2 minutes. 10 minutes. I said, ma'am, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Well, they had options. Connect with the centers like these, wherever you are, and they're there. They will come and teach you. They will come and explain to you. They will be spiritualizing the whole education system. Why can't we do this? And they'll never say no. Such institutions never say no. Whenever they're asked to say, can you please handle this institution or give this education? So this is our education system. If any one of us is a school owner here, ask yourself, what do you do? Or you do PTAs? Ask yourself, do you place this? Do you ask for it? So some of you may have relatives as principals and teachers. Ask them, why don't they do it? So the school then I also, because they're low in attention, yoga was the first thing. Then I asked them another thing. I said, has any one of you read any biography of any famous freedom fighter? I said, have you seen film on Swamiji? I asked them, Swami Vivekananda ka film dekha? I said, Gandhi ji ka aaj independence aa raha hai. Have you seen the film on Gandhi? None of them had seen it. They'd not seen Gandhi. They'd not seen Swamiji's films. Nothing. Now they did not know what to do. I had the principal also there, the owner of the school also there. So I didn't need to go on embarrassing. Then I said, okay, do you want time? I told them, do you want time to do it? Can we do it together? Can we find a way by where you see biographical films and you read biographies of such great people? Because value system was lacking and concentration was lacking. Then I said, okay, now friends, I'll do one thing. Then I told them, the school, I said, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back. But this time, I went yesterday to unfurl the flag because they called me on the eve of Independence Day. I said, on 26 January, I'm coming back. And I'll come and unfurl the flag again. But before that, I'll ask you, show me your yoga. Tell me the number of films you've seen and tell me the biographies you've read as children. And I'll ask you questions. And if you all do well, you'll all get a certificate. I'll sign the certificate along with the principal. And this certificate will open the doors of employment for you. I can tell you that. They all clapped. I got their attention back. And they started now being very attentive, not fidgety. Now they saw something nice and happening. So friends, these things can happen, provided we all carry these messages as citizens, as community of this place. Then all about women. Then I had an issue of the corporate world. I have other points, but I'm cutting it short now. Is the role which women can play. Women are half of us. Half of us. And if women start playing the entrepreneurial role, they raise the GDP, they will raise economic prosperity of this country. But we are not focusing on them. Girls to become more skilled, girls to be marrying with care, girls becoming mothers carefully. Are they ready? Do they have the money to bring up a child? Do they have the budgets? Do they have the partnership? Do they have a home care? Do they have home support? We are not focusing on women. We're just letting them go, happen, if it happens. But if it's happening, that's why it's happened now, with this bulge of this population. Today, every child should be brought into this world very thoughtfully. Can he be brought up or she be brought up with investments? Because child needs biggest investment, where a child from a mother requires time. From mother and father. And then requires money, medical, education and other things. The child needs priority care. Are the parents, men and women, evaluating this before they rush into marriages? And marriage is fine. If it doesn't work, you can go. If it works, fine. But if it doesn't work, you have a way to go. But what do you do with the child? You can't say, child, you go. Child is yours. And the child wants a mother. Priority-wise, child is closer to the mother because of the biological reason. By and large, exceptions are also there. Now the corporate world. I thought, because I work with the corporate world as well. Today, if any one of you is an industrialist or with some business, etc., find a way. Can you train somebody? Can you have an intern? Can you have an apprentice? And I've been asking children now, tell me children, how many of your parents have a business of their own? A shop of their own? A business of their own? Go over the weekend and see your parents' business. Sit there and watch. Learn this business. You may like it. So that when you grow up, job may not be available, but your papa's business will be there. Your mother's business will be there, and you will have liked it. That means your subjects change at the moment in college and school, so that you prepare yourself. You study finance, you study commerce, and you study all software. You learn more computers, you understand GST, and so many other things of the latest corporate world. I thought these are very, very essential things now to be, and this is exactly the new India I believe requires. So the greatest challenge, friends, is not economic, I believe. It's not infrastructure, not technology, it's character. It's the character which was the priority of which Swamiji every time mentioned. Character which is not corrupt. At the moment, the biggest challenge is corruption in this country, and we have all contributed to it by cutting corners to find and we've all polluted the system. Corruption has polluted today's newspapers. If you read, everywhere the CAG reports are reporting where the money has gone. Wasted, thousands of crores have gone. Read today's, when I was reading in the morning my paper, there's not one report of CAG which was heartening, whether it was in the area of education or even in forestry. Even in forestry, or even in those levies, assessors which the country earns, those levies have gone elsewhere. They've got diverted. So, friends, corruption is a major issue where we all have to play a role in preventing it, questioning it. So, if somebody asks you, we have been taking the easy way out. The best way to challenge is, don't go alone. If somebody is asking you, saying, I'll come back, let me generate the money, and go back as 10 people. Don't go alone. Go 10. Go 10, but you're afraid to be beaten up. You may be afraid to be followed. You may be afraid to be harassed. I do not know. I do not know. I've only heard. Maybe this may be happening, maybe not happening. I may be wrong 100%. But don't go alone. If somebody asks you for something, saying, certainly, let me find the money. Let me go and ask the family. Then bring the family along. Which is family? Family or friends. So, if you can, you might control, and then you start saying, ye ko laye, inko kyun laye? Kyunki maine inji paise mange na. Aapne mere se 10,000 मांगे, सबने मुझे 1,000 दिया, मैंने 10,000 आपको दे दिए. इसलिए वो भी आना चाहते थे कि देखते कि पैसा तुम उसी को दे रहे हो कि ऐसे ले रहे हो. वो कहेगा, अरे ऐसे थोड़ी कर, मैंने तो सीरियसली नहीं बोला था, मैंने तो मजाक किया था. तो अब मजाक किया तो काम करो फिर. So maybe you have to find. So looking back over my 5 decades of work, friends, I have seen India rise stronger. Our last Pahalgam, our Kashmir assault, a win over Pakistan was a big achievement. I think our armed forces have let us up completely. We salute our armed forces of this country who have actually taken us to strength and strength. Armed forces, be the army, navy or air force, men and women of this. They have actually lived up to the dreams of Swamiji. But I've also seen ordinary citizens becoming extraordinary leaders. I've seen them. I've also seen young minds challenge old limitations and redefine what is possible. I've seen them. I've seen institutions also becoming once very rigid, learning to adapt and evolve. I've seen them. Because I've identified certain other areas, but I also want to tell you what I've seen which has kept my hopes alive. Swamiji did not call upon us to admire India from a distance, friends. He called upon us to awaken it from within. Awaken it from within. So we are all those living within. That responsibility now rests with each one of us. Every generation is given a defining moment, a chance to shape the direction of history. The new India will not emerge by accident, friends. It will be built patiently, courageously, conscientiously by billions of everyday choices we make. When honesty is chosen over convenience, service is chosen over self-interest, when excellence is pursued without compromise, when courage replaces silence, when we refuse to accept mediocrity as destiny, that is when transformation becomes irreversible. The journey is on. It's not begun, it's on. The momentum is visible. Every day the leaders announcing us to take us towards Viksit Bharat. It's on. The responsibility is ours, not theirs. Ours. Let us arise, not tomorrow, not someday, but now, and act with clarity, conviction, determination, and collective purpose. Let us not merely witness India's rise, but become its architects. That's what I'm requesting and urging you. So let us ensure that when future generations, those generations look back, those who are making it to Viksit Bharat, they will say this was the moment India chose. And West Bengal, Calcuttans chose. This is the new India, therefore, friends, or new West Bengal. West Bengal is at the moment new. It's starting in new. So therefore, the new India and new West Bengal is not a distant dream. It is now a decision. And that decision to collectively be architects begins now and for future. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, for saying it all with you. Thank you.
Sri Ramakrishnaya. Most respected Dr. Bedi, devotees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. On behalf of the Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, I express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Kiran Bedi for being with us today and for sharing her thoughts, experiences and vision with such warmth and conviction. We all know that Dr. Bedi is the first women IPS officer, the recipient of the Magsaysai Award for reforming Tihar Jail and public welfare, and the first female and first Indian advisor to the United Nations Police. Madam, your life has demonstrated that leadership is not merely about holding a position. It is about having the courage to act, the perseverance to continue, and the compassion to bring about meaningful change in life. Your presence here today has been a great source of inspiration, particularly for the young minds who have listened to you. I am sure many of them will carry your message of courage, discipline, and service with them. On this occasion, I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the family members of the late Amrita Daga, in whose cherished memory this lecture has been instituted. We are deeply grateful to his father, Sri Ratan Daga, and his mother, Srimati Rajshi Daga, for their continued association, support and affection towards this institute. I would also like to place on record our sincere appreciation to all the distinguished guests, colleagues, volunteers and members of the audience whose presence and cooperation made this program possible. On behalf of the Institute, I once again thank most respected Dr. Kiran Bedi for accepting our invitation and making this evening truly memorable. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
To call on the stage father and mother of late Amrita Daga, Shri Ratan Kumar Daga and Srimati Rajshri Daga.
Of all of us present here today, it's my absolute honor to propose this vote of thanks, as after Swamiji we have been given the chance as we conclude today's memorial lecture. First and foremost, our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Kiran Bedi, Dr. Bedi, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and for delivering such an inspiring, thought-provoking address. Your words have truly elevated this evening and given us so much to reflect upon. Holding this lecture in this sacred space carries a deep personal meaning. Amrita shared a profound love for and a very close bond with the Ramakrishna Mission. Wherever she traveled across the world, and in Singapore, of course, where she lived, visiting Ramakrishna Mission centers was always something very dear to her heart, a constant source of peace, comfort, and purpose. To honor her memory here today means a lot to us. For making this possible, we extend our sincere gratitude to the Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture and especially to Swamiji for their unhesitating support, gracious hospitality, and guidance throughout. Finally, thank you to each and every one of you in the audience for taking time out to cherish Amrita's memory and make this occasion so meaningful for all of us. Have a wonderful evening.
I just want to add, we are overwhelmed by this large audience. It is all to Dr. Bedi and to Swamiji for the Ramakrishna. I am extremely thankful to both of you for making this event, the first memorial lecture of my daughter, a great success. I would like to inform you all that this event is being watched all over the world on live stream. Parts of India, America, London, Singapore, and many other places. So we are very fortunate, and I just want to conclude by adding that Dr. Bedi, you have been very kind with all the words that you've spoken about my daughter. Thank you very much.
A memorable memorial lecture. Thank you.
Token from Amrita.
Oh, how? Please. How?